Hello everyone, Professor Quizzler here. I just wanted to make a quick video about the 250th anniversary military parade for the U.S. Army today that happened in Washington, D.C. that coincided with President Trump's birthday. It was a bit surprising that less than or about, depending on the news source you read, only about 10,000 people were in Washington, D.C. for the parade. Event organizers a few days ago said that they expected about 200,000 people to be there for the parade. Now, it did rain in Washington, D.C. It rained pretty heavily over the past couple days, but that was still a pretty small turnout compared to what they expected or thought might attend. So if you looked at videos or you watched the parade, you did see a lot of empty seats on the bleachers, areas set up in Washington, D.C. for viewers to hang out and watch the parade, and a lot of empty seats, a lot of empty space, which I thought was a bit surprising. We know there was some politics behind it. Some people thought and continue to think that the military shouldn't be on display in Washington, D.C. So that, of course, kept some people of that political persuasion away. Others, I'm a bit surprised that maybe more Trump-friendly folks didn't come to the Capitol, even with the rain in the forecast. And conversely, we did see pretty big protests around the country, anti-ICE, anti-Trump protests, really. And I've seen different numbers of cities listed, but really in dozens and dozens and dozens of cities around the country. Hundreds of thousands of people came to the streets to demonstrate and protest against Donald Trump. So it's just interesting that the military parade in Washington, D.C. wasn't that well attended, but yet we did see these independent all around the country, these independent protests against the Trump administration. And it might not really matter for electoral politics, but it's just an interesting thing to think about on a day where we kind of expected a decent turnout in Washington, D.C. We didn't see that big of a turnout. And then we didn't expect to see as big of a turnout for the No King protests around the country. We saw a pretty big protest. So who knows? It'll take some time to know if this matters for electoral politics or if it was just a one-off, people showing their frustration, and maybe some people keep being kept away due to the rain. But it's just an interesting thing to pay attention to. Okay, thank you.